fresh, new, best of 5. This one is supposed to be a TVZ. In the top left, as the red Zerg, he is JonSnow. In the bottom right, ooh, looking at things, get things started early. It's the blue Terran MaSa going for a 2-racks. I assume a 2-racks. I also assume Scarlet's gonna go for 2-racks, and then she went for 3-racks, which is questionable. This very well could be the 4-racks all in, just Marines. MaSa has done that, certainly, and will continue to do that for sure. JonSnow, will he send his overlords in a way that will scout this? This is probably one of the greedier places you can put them. I guess the real greedy place would be right here, wouldn't it? But yeah, I think some of them go over here, some of them go a little bit farther to the left, but this might just be seen. JonSnow's already going for a pool first anyways, which is going to give him those lings, access to lings a little bit earlier to hopefully take out the bunkers, which is kind of the key part to holding the snowball. Thank you very much to TonyBan89 for 25 month resubs. Such a long time. Yeah, it has been. Every day's been a blessing. I'm so used to tapping to Firefox to check this stuff. Have I missed anything while everything was going on? I don't think I did. Lumberjack for 10 months, perhaps? No, I did the football thing. And then... Snipe Hunts. Did the huge bits. I don't think I caught Dovenwolf with the 1,000 bits. Sorry about that. That was about a half hour ago. But thank you very much for that. And oopsie daisy was doing that. The bunker was actually being attacked, which is kind of important. A+ observing. So the lings already being accessible like makes it difficult for MaSa. The drones being pulled is the extra insurance JonSnow needed to make sure that this wouldn't snowball. He has to be a little careful not to throw away what could be a huge lead though by pulling too many drones into the Marines. Pulling them back is a very wise move, and pulling back the lings would probably have also been smart too. He loses quite a number just trying to chase down only a handful of Marines. He's gonna have to build a few more to make sure the next couple production rounds don't kill him. That was a beautiful sound. And JonSnow is going to have access to a lot of lings. He's not going to have speed lings anytime soon, though. This is, I guess, a key difference to what we usually see. The gas was added on after he had dealt with it, so speed lings are going to be a worry for MaSa for quite some time. But that does mean that JonSnow was able to get a few more drones than usual. Now, he lost a few more drones, too, so he's probably at a pretty equal place than he would be if he had gone for speedlings as well, but yeah, was it really worth it? You know, he still doesn't have a very good drone count, and MaSa was able to take out so many lings because JonSnow pushes off the creep here that MaSa still finds himself with the SCV lead. Keep in mind it's only one orbital for now. MaSa is going to add the orbital, the next command center that is soon. I thought that was going to be it for sure, but no. Yeah, 400 minerals, we also had almost 200 gas, so that goes into a starport first and foremost. MaSa continues to build Marines, and if JonSnow makes the mistake of maybe not making more lings or more queens, then I guess there could be a follow-up all in. That could be the case. You know, break down the rocks to make sure he doesn't deal with anything from that side ever again. And JonSnow is finally going to be able to get in the swing of things and drone. And it's kind of his priority right now is drone and don't die to follow-up Hellions. He sees there's still no command center, or almost would see there's still no command center. There we go. Ling now comes in and is going to check to see, is that just built in the main base? He did see that already being built in the main base. So the timing would tell him there is a starport. The question, of course, is what is that starport producing? And he would not know. It's a Liberator for now, but it could have had a tech lab. It could have been a Raven even, but I think Banshees would have been the first biggest threat JonSnow would have to think about. And a little copy pasta battle going on here. What's happening, chat? This group has the best Terrans. Oh, I thought you were... Damn it, I thought you were joking. And it has the best Terrans. Looks like JonSnow is at least going to build one Spore Crawler. I mean, Spore Crawlers in every single mineral line of a Zerg player really never seems to be that bad of a thing. You don't want to have to do it if you don't have to, but you can reposition it against drops and Liberators anyway. Nice group of Marines and Hellions. Both barracks came back. Our armory is on the way. That's something that JonSnow won't be able to scout. Doesn't go for Overlord speed very often. I found it interesting that Neeb went for Overlord speed every time. I think it's because typically Scarlet and me both, I mean, having lived in Korea for so long, right? But, you know, also studying more Koreans, I think, than anyone else. It's the Koreans seem to be getting more and more of the overload speed. But, JonSnow, not even deal with Hellbats yet. Doesn't matter if he scouted or not. 3 Hellbats, or 3 Hellions turning into Hellbats are already very low. But oh my god, the one on the front barely healed up. The other 2 barely picked up. Still going to be able to provide some damage. Lings flooding into their deaths. Marines not really plentiful enough to help out too much, but Queens have to be very careful. A lot more Lings on the way, 20 more on the way. MaSa is going to use this, hopefully, to just get another economic advantage. So far, he is doing. Hellbat's being dragged on top of the Queens because the medevac hasn't been able to be focus fired. It's been microed very well by MaSa. JonSnow, if he tries to focus fire it so far back, he just walks himself into a bunch of Hellbats, which is, you know, equally as bad. Or could be equally as bad. Queen does go down, medevac lives, Marines get out of there. Unfortunately, I don't think any Zerg player is very happy when you see the medevac live and get out. 2 more Hellions join the fray. He's gonna have to give up the Marine or save both Hellbats. Or save everything? Save everything, save the world? Save everything. More and more Hellions are being produced. MaSa doesn't want to quite stop yet. I'd be surprised if he goes into a Hellbat Marine army composition, because that's so 2014. But he could. I'd say more so it's just because the fear of a Ling counter, a Ling flood without Hellions is too great. But he's just continuing to push in, and this is a very odd style of play, one that JonSnow is going to be caught off guard, I think, for a second time. Now, he hasn't started droning and just droning. He does have more Lings on the way, but this has got to be a shock. If he knew this was going to happen, he might have also considered producing more Queens. A little stirred here, don't rally in one at a time to a bunch of Hellbats. Loses another one. Bailings do get a decent shot, but they needed a beautiful one, not a decent one. 2 medevacs now. This one barely alive over in the right-hand corner. MaSa continuing to rally forward on 2 bases. Has just finished up his 3rd base. Now getting double engineering bay for upgrades. Medevac is finally being focus fired. Doesn't say there's a perfect opportunity to do so. And the medevacs have to leave. But this is a lot of weird damage done. Medevac goes down. Another one's gonna barely survive. More production being added on. That was a very weird attack. MaSa was only on 2 barracks, 1 starport without a reactor, and a factory that was still producing Hellions. But it kind of worked. Now, these are Hellbats. Some of them are. Some of them are Hellions. They're taking a sweet time getting over here. No SCVs lose their lives, and that was maybe not worth it by JonSnow. His lair only just now starts at 8 minutes. His upgrades finished. Would have loved to already been on his way to 2-2 and centrifugal hooks, but he's gonna have to wait a long time for that. MaSa floating over his 3rd CC, feeling confident that he did enough damage so that he can securely take it. His upgrades will still maybe be behind that of JonSnow's. It really depends on how fast he starts 2-2. But he certainly is catching up because JonSnow's lair was so late. Combat shields was missing. I didn't even notice that, but I guess it makes sense. Stim was so late for the T-Rax opener that combat shields would also be late. Going into +1 vehicle plating instead of any attack. The attack's always a little bit curious if you're going to go for Widow Mines, they don't benefit from it. And if you're going to go to Liberators later, they don't benefit from vehicle weapons either. So sometimes you see people go Widow Mines, just not bother with an armory upgrade, which is like kind of the other choice here. But the vehicle plating does allow Widow Mines to survive a little bit longer, as well as medevacs. Thank you to Ethereal for the Twitch Prime sub. Widow Mine, come on. To be fair, MaSa should have seen that coming. Oh, and that one. Oh, poor Marines. Oh no. They were just trying to get in their medevac and then they got kaplooied. No. Well, as I said, MaSa should have expected that. At this point, I think 4 years after the Widow Mine was introduced into StarCraft, there is a little bit of blame on the Terrans when they shoot back and kill other Marines. A little bit. But continuing to hammer this point, JonSnow's not able to get a lot of creep spread. He is starting to envelop the left side of the map, which is something, but there's just not been a lot of creep tumors to place down because his queens have been so busy. Lane counter doesn't really work out. Or run by, rather. Sees a 4th base is already put down, which can't be a good sign, since his 4th base is only just now getting saturated. Oh, just kidding. Jones had to be pulled away. Nice find by MaSa. He's gonna jump on this one Hydra. Try to. Quick chance uses from JonSnow's queens. Quick fingers right there. 2-2 does start, and looks like JonSnow kept a very healthy lead in upgrades. A lot of Widow Mines now planting a minefield here. JonSnow's gonna have a heck of a time dealing with it, but he is going Ling Hydra, and MaSa might regret going Widow Mines. People always say that Widow Mines are just a dead tool against Ling Hydra Baneling, and certainly they aren't as good as tanks, especially on a map like Interloper. They still provide the way to deal with the Ling Baneling aspects. They just usually can't help out so much against the Hydras. But JonSnow, funnily enough, doesn't have a lot of Lings or Banelings. In fact, none. He's just relying on those Hydras, and it's not gonna be enough. MaSa now up almost 40 army supply. Down on upgrades, sure, but rallying forward has a huge group of Marines. There we go, now pushing. And that should be the nail in the coffin. Picks up at a very weak medevac! Does lose 2 of them anyways. MaSa on 70 SCVs, trying to take that 4th base. Couple Lings to deny that. One tiny thing going in JonSnow's favor. MaSa is going to continue to pressure. His Widow Mine survived. The creep spread is only just now trying to be replanted. For those of you just tuning in or, you know, kind of confuddled about what the order of things happened, MaSa didn't show up for his first match, so he got sent down to losers bracket. This is the losers round of things. Widow Mines are able to take out the Banelings, but there are just barely enough Hydras left over. Lings on top of that 4th base are a hassle for MaSa to deal with because he's paying attention so heavily on this side of the map. Also, the drop to the 4th base finds a lot of drones. JonSnow decides not to take the fight with the Lings, waiting for his reinforcements. MaSa not quite getting the significant amount that he was hoping for because his pressure on this line of things had to stop. But 9 drones is so bad. Had to lower his depots, bring the Marines over. Now it's going to turn to a planetary, and it's 4 bases versus 4. MaSa still finding himself in a very good position. Just didn't quite have the right tools to defeat the Hydras. Oh, I'm starting to get a little bit of a headache. Little bit. Gotta drink more whiskey. That's the cure. +2 vehicle weapon or armor. Wow. As I said, some people don't even bother getting 1. C2 is just mind-boggling. Liberators also could have been added at this point in time if that's how he wanted to play. And ship weapons would have been better for that one, but he is still continuing on with Bio Widow Mine. As I said, he might regret going Widow Mine, but he's kind of fully committed to it, especially with Drilling Claws now on the way. I don't think we've seen any Widow Mines pop off on the Hydras, but they have been cleaning up the Lings and Banelings. And they've been staying alive, which has been another problem of JonSnow's. I mean, there's been so many problems in this game, but that's one of them. Widow Mines flooding in. Marines took a little while longer to split away from those Banelings and actually got a couple more than they wanted to the face. MaSa not able to push through here. I mean, multiple things happened wrong there. The Widow Mines got okay connections, first of all, despite being 6 or 7 of them. There was a lot. He was on creep, which made the Banelings connect even easier, and he didn't really compensate for being on creep. You know, he didn't try and pull away instantly once he saw the army was in position. He just let himself stay on creep while microing slightly. It makes sense he would lose a lot. Also got to consider that army supply that is so far above that of JonSnow's by 30, almost 40 now. Well, I'd say 20 is an okay place for Zerg to be in the first place, and then about 20 more are in so many freaking medevacs. MaSa is very close to throwing this game. He scans ahead, sees what is still a very sizable Baneling Hydra army. JonSnow is mining out his main and natural. MaSa, of course, can just lift his. But JonSnow starting to get into the groove of things. Might even start trying to counterattack, run by, force MaSa to look elsewhere. Maybe even an infestation pit? That'd be very difficult to do, but maybe it could happen. If JonSnow brings this game back, it would be quite impressive. There's no underestimating his early game disadvantage. Perhaps MaSa's position was a little overstated, especially because he continued to rally in, and that was... I mean, obviously one problem here is Widow Mines aren't being the best that they ever could be. But the other problem is that he is getting kind of into that, well, I'm going to win, right? So let me just rally forward, and that's how Terran players start to lose their advantages. That's definitely happened in this game. You can't blame him for thinking he was going to win. Every time he saw that army, it was, you know, pitiful. There's even times there weren't any banelings, but there was just enough. But it was problems. But now MaSa's got 3-3. JonSnow only sticking at 2-2. Getting another 2. I guess he's going to be on 2-2-2. MaSa clearing up creep, almost maxed out. Should still win this game. But JonSnow's put up a hell of a fight. Banelings now just being, I mean, a couple of them got good connections, but the rest of them going one at a time was easy peasy. JonSnow, half of his army, his very small army, was trying to get us around. It's a good idea, but it doesn't really work out. Or does it? Actually, oh, no micro on this side of the Marines. Everything has to be picked up and flown away. So many medevacs taking up that supply. 14 medevacs. But no more lings to protect those Hydras. Banelings non-existent. Widow Mines going off on Overseers, damaging the medevacs more than anything else. Doesn't matter. JonSnow still has to top out. Tap, top, whatever. He's gone. And that's game number 1 in MaSa's favor, but for something that I thought would be a little bit sooner of a GG, JonSnow certainly had grit. It was like 12, 14 minutes, something like that. Ooh, next one's going to be Acolyte. First time we're seeing this today. I don't think we saw it at all yesterday either. Just weird. It's weird. We just had something very weird happen. Okay, it's time to make a little more sense. In the bottom left, it's game number 2. It is the Red Zerg, JonSnow. In the top right, as the Blue Terran, he is MaSa. So while that intro was playing, we saw JonSnow cancel an Overlord. So if you're going to go for a 12 pool, you can cancel the 13 drone, and the larva still ends up being the same. I'm not sure about the timing of an Overlord being made or not, but clearly he wanted to go for 14-14. Much earlier pool. I wonder why, though. Such a long map seems a little bit questionable. I can only assume that's going to be roaches as a follow-up, but there's no second gas. We'll wait and see what's going to happen here. If it's just speedlings, Acolyte's probably the worst map ever to do that on. Because MaSa will eventually wall off. The only time it's ever questionable if the wall off will come down, I think, is if it's like literally a 12 pool. And then maybe the supply depot was a little bit late, but even then I'm like still kind of wondering. I don't know about this. You know, there's always that little, you know, mind game where it's like, well, he never expected on the biggest map in the map pool where you have an in-base natural, would he? Well, not wrong. But he might still be losing the game. I don't know. There's going to be an evolution chamber. So maybe Overlord drops. But the real problem... So initially when Overlord drops were introduced into the game, there was times you didn't need the evolution chamber. When you did, there was times where I think the cost... There's been a lot of fixes and whatever. But initially, it was difficult to deal with as a Terran player. No one was used to it, you know? We were experimenting with different things too. We were going for like bio builds and 2-on-1s and stuff. But now things have swung back into just Hellion builds. JonSnow's going to have to get a very quick snowball effect, which he could do. And that's, I think, the real pivotal moment here. The Reaper sees what is a very late hatchery, but only as the Lings are attacking his base, and he's probably scratching his head thinking, like, what the hell could you possibly be doing? Why would you do that? And hopefully he recognizes that if an Overlord drops Lings, he just won't have any army. This is attacking before the Hellions will be ready to go. If you can buy time for 2 to pop out, it's still going to be difficult. It's really about stopping the snowball effect for either side. A 2-on-1 wouldn't have produced many more Marines either, so it's not like you're just a safe build against this. You just have to have excellent crisis management. Lings do drop in from the top. That Overlord being very, very sneaky indeed. And JonSnow might just have a cheese to end all cheese. He's definitely trying to hold the wall to stop more Lings from flooding in. That's actually a very smart move, but they are going to break through. It doesn't supply block MaSa, which is the other worry. 2 Hellions at a time, supply box very quickly. Ling's going to the natural base, going to catch a lot of SCVs, but this is very all-in from JonSnow. 21 SCVs to 13 drones. If those Hellions survive, if there's 4 Hellions against only Speedlings, 4 Hellions is much easier to micro with than just 2. They do get caught a little off guard. SCVs have to be pulled again, but so far MaSa's crisis management is excellent. He doesn't have to worry really about his natural base, although, yeah, that's kind of freebie SCVs here. Taken care of. JonSnow can't hope for 1 or 2 SCVs at a time. That's really not going to make up for what he just did. He'd really need... I guess he'd probably need 15 to 20 SCVs killed at this point. Because he needs MaSa to be under his drone supply. Not even, not over, under. Because you still have that count for 2 mules. Yeah, it's a barely surviving supply depot. SCVs certainly are losing mining time. I don't think JonSnow... Well, JonSnow definitely has a 1 with this, but the question is, can he equalize things to, like, make it a decent macro game? Even now, as he does bump up a little bit in the drone count, you still have to consider he's only been working off of 2 hatcheries, which is not comfortable for a Zerg player. 2 bases, 2 command centers for a Terran player is comfortable. Marine's gonna pop out and get rid of this Overlord, too. JonSnow probably should have sent that back a little bit earlier. It doesn't have speed. And has a long way to go before it's safe. I think it's just gonna die. This probably kills a lot of other players. It's such a shock and awe build. Actually, it's gonna be kind of healthy. I misjudged the damage one Marine could do. It's fine. But anyways, going back to my point, probably kills a lot of other Terran players. You know, actually, never mind. Yeah. It does kill a lot of Terran players, but I was also thinking about the hatchery placement. JonSnow put it at the front base, but his Lings literally showed themselves as the Reaper attacked the hatchery, so there's nothing to be said about hiding this build any longer. I think he had to show it when he showed it, and it didn't work. Now we're into Hellion Banshee, and MaSa is a little bit free to make more Hellions. Generally, you want to go up to 6, maybe 8, and then swap off your reactor for something bigger and better, usually another barracks. But considering how this game opened, more Hellions is the safer move. Building a 3rd CC is a safer move. And he can hold off on waiting to build his production. His real production, Marine production, a little while longer. Now, JonSnow has really gone into drone mode. Does that leave him without defenses against Hellions? MaSa is kind of calling a bluff here. The Zerg bluff that exists every single time, which is, do they have Lings hiding or not? JonSnow had a couple of Lings, but they're trying to do a drop with that Overlord that survived. As such, Queens were not enough. They don't kill the Hellions fast enough. All they do is body block, and the best case scenario, worst case scenario, save you from losing 30 drones instead of 23. 24. 25. 26. I think that should be it. 26 drones go down. Oh, wait, no, he didn't build a Spore Crawler! Oh, that's just game. Actually, never mind. That's just game. No, these Lings could never do anything. No. This is so much chaos. Oh, lordy. Oh, jeez. He saw the starport, but probably forgot about dealing... Oh, what? Oh, he never saw the starport? Wow, I guess that went down after everything was said and done, I guess. Wow. Oh, tough luck. Tough luck. 37 drones, down to 9 of them. Hellions did all die, though. JonSnow... Nah, just gonna tap out. Just kidding. GG. MaSa takes the 2-0. JonSnow with an almost super clever all-in. Didn't quite work. So the next game could be the last. I'm gonna go into a 2-minute break. We'll see you guys soon. It is game number 3. In the top left, going for a 13-13, I think it was this time. It is the blue Zerg, JonSnow. In the bottom right, as the red Terran, he is MaSa. Had an excellent defense last game. Didn't realize what was coming, but did the best of his ability to make it work, and he did make it work. Here you go. Thank you very much for the bits. Jibby, 100. Diesel max power, continuously. Side punt, 100. Those bits gained by watching ads. Every little bit counts. So JonSnow going for the early pool again with the gas. This can actually cancel, kill, rather. Well, I meant cancel too. It can cancel the command center. Would be a very worst case scenario thing if JonSnow killed the command center. But yeah, canceling it, not just delaying it. You go for a pull first into a hatchery. Hey, you can delay that thing, sure. You go for this build, and you're going to get the cancel for sure. And maybe a little bit more if they don't realize what's happening. Lings are already out. Speed's going to finish way quicker than MaSa would expect. Of course, the CC's going to go on the low ground. You wouldn't expect anything else. The problem with this build is that sometimes canceling the command center isn't enough. But he is going to be adding the evolution chamber just like last game and going for the all-in with the drop. So if he gets the cancel of the command center, that would lead into a okay macro game, unlike last game, which was just never going to be very okay for him. The second command center not really being touched, second mule available. Oh, this is really good though. Oh, this is actually super important that MaSa was able to find the Lings. JonSnow must have mistimed that. That is... Oh, that's... Oh, no. Okay, well, okay. Here's the thing. MaSa saw 6 Lings. That's quite the dedicated amount. That doesn't necessarily mean they're following up with a quick speed, but it should be giving a lot of, like, suspicion here for MaSa. He could have had his Reaper mistimed, lost the SCV by now, run back home with the Reaper, and gotten surrounded by the Speedlings. That's the other universe where this has happened. As it is, he still can't save the command center. He didn't know if it was going to be the Speedling follow-up or not, so you can't really just cancel that thing immediately. But realizing what it is, he cancels. Gonna have to hold off until he has more Hellions, because it's the same deal. That Overlord is pretty far away. Giving MaSa time to swap over the reactor, but this time he's not going to. He's gonna just build one Hellion at a time. Maybe he doesn't realize what it is. Maybe he just thinks that it's just the Lings on the ground. But it's the other all-in again. He's gone for a 3rd CC already. Oh no, his MaSa actually made a fatal mistake here. Marine's only gonna be good for so long. Build a Hellion. Build anything. He's not gonna have supply to in a second. Okay, so he built a Hellion, but it's only one. And this is not enough DPS. The SVs have to be pulled. They're gonna be... So many are gonna be killed. Is it actually enough of DPS? This actually holds against one Reaper? Okay, no. Well, the Marine died. Where's the follow-up flood? Oh, no. Oh, no. No Hellion events necessary. 2 Marines and a Reaper were enough with the SCV pool. And only 3 SCVs died? Oh, man. Well, this is officially a bad build. Do not suggest doing it. 0 out of 10. Oh, gosh. I would have panicked. I would have panicked so badly. Especially with the supply block. That she is about to be unsupply blocked. Hellions can't drop onto this, and JonSnow's just going to try and follow up with roaches, but that... I don't know if it's going to be that much better. He's not going to be able to make very many. Well, I guess there's a reason we don't see this build anymore against Terrans. Which I did try and explain last game, how we used to see this build before Ling drops are figured out, and now we just don't. This is the perfect double game example as to why. JonSnow is in questionable position. By going for a Roach Warren, well, he's actually just straight up in a worse position than last game. He killed less SCVs, he stopped less mining time, and he went for a Roach Warren that I'm just not sure is really going to be able to help out. So the follow-up all-in has got to work. MaSa will not have a lot of scouting, and maybe that's probably why he built a medevac instead of anything else. The Reaper would very unlikely get across the map, but a medevac definitely will, and it'll scout. He's following up with a Liberator, which will be able to help a little. Oh, it's gonna go down with Lings inside. Ooh. Ooh. Nicely done. And JonSnow's got to make a decision right here, right now. Keep 1 or 2 roaches back at home, or just put everything forward and hope a Queen takes care of everything. The roaches are going to be seen by the medevac. Oh, the timing. Ooh, the timing. It works out perfectly. And now MaSa, well, just about building Cyclones. Siege of the Liberator. Medevac flies back home, decides not to go for the drop. I think it could have held in the high ground and still been fine and let the drop deal damage, but I think the real problem with letting a drop go is you're not going to be able to focus on it, and it could literally die to a Queen. Ooh, you don't see roaches get burned very often. It just stayed still while it jiggled. That was grim. Anyway. 1 Ravager, 2 Ravagers. 2 Ravagers is still not the magic number to take care of a Liberator. It's 3 corrosive bio shots, or you're going to have to deal with too many Liberator shots. Hellions looking for the Lings, make sure they don't become a problem later on. 2 bunkers finished with Marines inside. There's that Cyclone, and that is it. MaSa with the 3-0. Takes the Losers Bracket Series after missing the first series to advance on to the cider match against Neeb. That's right, Neeb. Neeb lost against Scarlet in the winners in a ZvT. He was Zerg, she was Terran. Her off race is best, I guess. And now has to face MaSa, whom I think he will be able to take on pretty well. But as always, in between series, going to go into a longer break. Thanks everyone for watching. Reminder about bttv.ting.com. There's too many T's in that. To check out more, learn on your own time, and potentially get $25 off your bill, which in some cases is your bill. So, pretty good. Thank you for the continued bits. Jibby coming in once again, throwing down those bits. Not as many as today, earlier today, but much appreciated. And I'm going to go to the break. See you guys with Neeb versus MaSa, the cider match.